each intern has generally a payload that they're working on that they're responsible for, but we do come up with launch day responsibilities. So I do have someone, for instance, that's in charge of payloads. They don't need to understand what the individual payloads are doing, but they're responsible for coordinating with the interns that are. So on launch day, I'll do a go no go call on everybody, and that payload officer is going to confirm that they've spoken to all the teams have their payloads on, the payloads are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're ready for launch. So again, they don't need the technical expertise, they're just the one that coordinates it. And we have essentially specialists for everything. Someone is in charge of weather, someone is in charge of safety, and that's how we organize it. And what it does is, so if I do, when I roll, I have a checklist and I run down, I ask, go, no go, and I call each person's name. When they say the word go, they're taking responsibility for everything that's in their job description. So if they were responsible to make sure everything had a battery in it and it was turned on, and we get the payload back and it was missing a battery, it's their fault. So after one flight of doing that, and having a camera that got forgotten to get turned on or something, they take their roles pretty seriously, and they won't say go unless they're 100% sure. So that's worked pretty well. And that was new. We just started that. I think last summer was the first time we kind of officially assigned roles like that, and that seemed to work pretty well. And then the last piece, as far as organization, on flight day, or I'm sorry, the day before flight day, we have a whiteboard, and the payloads get written out on the whiteboard. Everything is weighed, so the weights are written on there, and we have to figure out the organization where we're going to put stuff based on weight, but also based on a radio frequency. We don't want things interfering with other payloads. So we'll kind of hash that out as a team. We'll usually have maybe 2 interns that are responsible for developing the whiteboard, but then we'll all come together as a team and look at it to make sure everything makes sense and that we're not missing a conflict or something on there.
So just to follow up with what he said, we have a blackboard, not a whiteboard, but yes, indeed, we will do a stack plan. If we have multiple stacks, each of them will get a fraction of the board. And then the people who need to will take photographs of that. And the idea is you pull up your photo and it's like, yep, and this particular stack has the following details, and therefore it needs the following inflation and the following lift, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then pretty much everybody is required essentially to take a picture of that board so that anybody and everybody could look up the details for a given stack and what is the order, the stack order, what is the lift needed and stuff. One thing that's been challenging about having specialists, as you described them, is that, especially in recent years, people not being able to show up, even at the very last minute, has happened. And it's like, I don't want just one person to be ready to talk about weather, or just one person to be ready to talk about safety, for fear that the safety person isn't there and we think that we have to scrub just because of that. You need it covered, no doubt, but having only one person responsible or familiar with it probably is spreading yourself, or, well, a little dangerous.